Right, so welcome to our second lesson on differentiation. In the last lesson, we were differentiating some of simple functions using this formula here. So we looked at this example. We also looked at these two examples that I'm just going to show you. We went through that, and we also went through that. We also went through question 1, did some of those, you marked those and went through a couple of them. And then we also went through these questions here. Okay, what we're going to do today, we're going to move on to the next bit here, which is whereby you have some x terms that have got fractions in front of them and how to differentiate this. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to do question Q for you, and then I'm going to ask you to try R, S, and T. Okay. Right. So if I've got y, it says y equals to a third x cubed minus x plus 9. Now, if I want to differentiate this, the first thing I need to do is to try and make sure that every single thing has got x in it. So the first term has got x cubed, the second one has got x, but I always like to put 1 on there. And then the third one is a constant, but we can always write constant as x to the power of 0. Okay, you can always do that. Okay, now then I can now start differentiating. The moment that every single term has got x in it, I can start differentiating. Remember in the last videos, we said that you take this power and you times this one by. So if you do that, I've got 3 and I'm timesing by 1/3. Now, if you're struggling with that, this 3 here is basically 3 wholes, if you want. Change it fraction. Then with timesing this fractions, you times the top numbers and you times the bottom numbers, and then you can just simplify. Okay? So we're now going to say that 3 times by 1/3 is going to basically be 1. You can write that one if you want to start with. And then this power is going to go down by 1. So it's going to be 2 now. Okay. Then I've got minus. The 1 times by 1, which is it here, is going to be 1. I can write it. And then I've got x. Now this one disappears. It becomes 0 if I take away. And then here, I've got 0 times by 9, which if you want is going to be 0. Then the 0 take away 1 will be minus 1. So you can do that. Then after that, you can then simplify. The one in front is unnecessary because we know that is 1x squared. The one in front here is unnecessary. But before that, we need to think about that this is basically 1. X to the power of 0 is always 1. Anything to the power of 0 is always 1. So this is 1 times 1, which is basically 1. As for this one, we got 0 times by this bit here. 0 times by anything is just 0. So there's no need writing that. So our answer is going to be x squared minus 1. Now at this stage, I want to draw your attention to something. I want you to notice that every single time you are differentiating a number that doesn't have an x in it, every single time you're differentiating a constant, it just disappears. It becomes 0. Okay, so this 9 here, if you look at the differential here, there is nothing that came from there. It's just disappeared. Every single time you're differentiating x that doesn't have anything more than 1 as its power, just x, it normally comes to be 1. Okay? So going back to that again, differentiating just x will give you 1 all the time. Differentiating any number that doesn't have x, any constant, will always just disappear to give you 0. Okay, so that's that. So I would like you to pause the video and try question R, S, and T. So pause the video, try question R, S, and T, please. Okay, I hope you've tried them. Right, so I'm just gonna pick 2 questions to do for you with the remaining time. So if I pick question S, let's just pick question S. Now question S, I want to just do it in one go. So I'm going dy dx there. Okay. Now we do 6 times 2/3. Right, so I got 6 times by 2/3. What you can always do is to cancel things here. You cancel the bottom number with any top number. So you say 3 goes here 1 and 3 goes here twice. There's nothing else I can cancel top bottom. So I've got 2 times 2, which is basically 4. So that's going to be 4. Okay. So this 6 times by 2/3 is 4. And then the power is going to go down by 1. So it's going to be 5. So 6 becomes 5. Then I'm going to do the next part. I've got 4 times by 5 over 2. So 4 times by 5 over 2. The 2 goes into 2 once. 2 goes into 4 how many times? Twice. 2 times 5 is 10. So I've got 10. And then x becomes 3. X to the power 4 becomes x to the power of 3. Because that goes down by 1. And then as for this, we're going to do 8 times 3, which is obviously 24. And then the x is going to go down by a power of 1. Okay, so it becomes 2. So that is S for you. Right, let's look at question T. Let's just look at question T. Let's look at question T. Right, with question T, I've got y equals to 3x to the power of 4, okay, over 4 minus x cubed over 6, and I've got plus x squared. Okay. Now what you need to think about here first before you try to handle this for here. Now this is going to be the same as, 3x to the power of 4 all over 4 is the same as 3/4 if you want. And then x to the power of 4 is the same thing. So you can always just pull this 4 out here to give you 3/4. And then the other one, you can look at it as 1/6, right? Dividing something by 6 is like timesing it by 6. So you can just write it like that. So this over 6 is basically 1/6 plus x squared. Okay. Now we want to start differentiating it. We want to start differentiating. Okay, so starting with this one here, I'm going to have 4 times by 3 over 4, which I know 4 will cancel with 4. So this bit here is just going to be 3x to the power of 3. Okay, because if you do 4 times by 3 over 4, we've just done it here. The 4's will cancel, you're going to get 3. But this power goes down. Then you're going to do 3 times by 1/6. So 3 times by 1 over 6. 3 goes into 3 once, and 3 goes into 2, into 6 twice. So I've got 1 times 1, which is 1 at the top, and I've got 2 at the bottom. So it's going to be a half. Okay, so 3 times 1, 6 is a half. And then I've got x to the power of 2. The power goes down by 1. Then I will do 2 times by 1 here, which is basically just going to be 2. And then the power goes down by 1. I don't need to write that one. Okay, so this one now becomes dy dx. Okay, so this part here is basically the differential. Here, what I was doing, I was just simplifying. So just going over that again, 3x to the power 4 over that, right? This 4 that you say all over 4 can just be factorized as 3 over 4 down there. Okay, so that's how we do this. Right, so if you want to pause the video and then just use the answers here to mark your work, please. I would like you to look at question T. Look at the way they've written this one, the middle part. X squared over 2 is the same as half x squared. Right? It's the same thing. If you're halving something, it's the same as dividing it by 2. So if you want to pause the video and mark your answer, please. Okay, well done for that.